There is a kind of presence that few men possess, a presence that lingers in the mind long after the moment has passed. This presence is rare because most people either lose themselves trying to please or inflate themselves trying to impress. But the truth that few understand is this: it's not charisma or charm that captivates, it's the mastery of self and thought. Most people fear not the kind or the clever, they fear the man who stands firmly in his own clarity and moves through life with quiet authority. A man like this isn't merely smart or sensitive, he's profoundly self-aware. Not just emotionally, but intellectually grounded, thoughtful, and deliberate. This is a man who feels deeply, yes, but never lets those feelings dictate his every move. A man who understands why he feels what he feels, and who refuses to let his internal world be hijacked by external chaos. He doesn't get swept away by every wave of reaction. He does not chase approval or perform to meet expectations. Instead, he observes the currents of human interaction and moves with precise intention. He is not someone to be controlled or manipulated because he does not give away his power. This is the kind of man who makes an impression not through noise or flash, but through his unshakable presence. In this video, we'll explore 6 essential qualities that form the foundation of this rare presence, qualities that transform a man into a force not easily forgotten, not easily bent. You will learn how to think, how to respond, and how to act, not as a reaction to others, but as a deliberate expression of your own truth. Each quality builds on the last. Miss one and you risk falling back into old patterns of frustration and confusion. Master them all, and you will rewrite the way you move through the world and how others experience you. Let's begin. You see beyond the noise and refuse to be distracted. In the flow of daily life, distractions and emotional triggers are everywhere. Opinions, criticisms, sudden shifts in mood, these are like gusts of wind trying to sway you off your path. Most people get pulled into these gusts. They argue, react, get defensive, or withdraw. But a man with presence sees beyond this chaos. When someone tries to provoke a reaction, he doesn't jump to respond or defend himself. Instead, he notices the shift, acknowledges it internally, and waits. He refuses to be baited. This is not coldness. It's not ignoring. It's the power of centeredness, a stillness that can only come from knowing yourself deeply. While others are flustered by emotional storms, he remains calm, composed, anchored in his own clarity. This calm presence signals strength, because it means he can't be moved by the chaos that moves others. You validate yourself before anyone else does. Validation is one of the most powerful currencies in human interaction, but many people spend their lives seeking it from outside, from approval, compliments, acceptance. This puts their power in the hands of others. It makes them reactive, insecure, and endlessly chasing approval. But the man with presence has already chosen himself. He knows his value not because of what others say or do, but because he has taken the time to understand and accept himself fully. Imagine meeting someone who tests you with sharp words or subtle digs. Most people scramble to fix or explain. He simply hears the comment, acknowledges it without attachment, and moves on. There is no need to defend, no need to explain, no need to perform. He stands firm because he has built a foundation that no external opinion can shake. This self-validation is magnetic. It draws people in not because of arrogance, but because of the deep confidence it radiates. You understand others without needing to control them. Many people try to control those around them out of fear, fear of rejection, fear of chaos, fear of losing their own sense of security. But the man who carries presence knows that true understanding is not control. He listens deeply. He reads between the lines. He senses the emotions and intentions beneath the surface, without judgment or need to fix. Imagine a relationship where the other person is moody or distant. Most react with frustration or withdrawal. He responds with calm curiosity. He asks one clear question, then gives space. When the moment is right, He returns to the conversation not to accuse or demand, but to share presence and honesty. This patience and awareness disarm emotional manipulation because the need to control thrives on chaos and confusion. When met with calm understanding, it dissolves. You handle conflict with composure, not aggression. Conflict is inevitable, but how we handle it reveals who we are. In the heat of an argument, most people raise their voices, throw blame, and try to overpower the other. This creates more chaos and misunderstanding. But the man who holds presence does not escalate. He speaks with deliberate calm. He listens as much as he speaks. He asks questions that open understanding instead of shutting down conversation. He leads the emotional tone, not by force, but by example. There is strength in this quiet leadership, strength that refuses to be drawn into needless drama. He knows when to be gentle, when to be firm, and when to step away without a word. You become a refuge for others without losing yourself. Emotional storms can be overwhelming. People often expect their partners or friends to mirror their intensity or react in kind. But the man who embodies presence offers something different, a steady anchor. He doesn't fear strong emotions or volatile personalities. Instead, he meets them with steady calm and clear boundaries. He listens without judgment. He holds space without losing himself. This creates a safe place, not of submission or dominance, but of genuine strength and warmth. Others feel this difference immediately. They don't want to control him because they trust that he can handle whatever comes. And paradoxically, this makes him more approachable, more deeply connected. When to let go with grace and integrity. The final and perhaps hardest quality of presence is the ability to walk away when necessary, not out of anger or defeat, but out of clarity and self-respect. Relationships, situations, and circumstances will shift. Sometimes, despite best efforts, things no longer align. Many people react with drama, blame, or heartbreak displayed publicly, but the man with presence grieves privately. He accepts the truth with dignity. He leaves quietly, without need for confrontation or spectacle. This ability to release without chaos shows a level of mastery that is rare and deeply powerful. It means he owns his choices, choosing to be present and choosing to step away when the time is right. You don't need loudness to be heard. You don't need performance to be respected. What you need is stillness, a mind that commands your attention, not betrays it. A heart that understands itself deeply, not one tossed by every storm. A voice that speaks with clarity, not noise. Because when you master your inner world without denial or suppression, when you move through life with calm intention, you become a presence that can't be ignored. Not because you demand it, but because you embody it. This kind of presence shifts the energy in any room. It changes how people see you, not as someone to control or dismiss, but as someone who anchors and inspires. Women don't fear this presence because it's manipulative or cruel. They fear and crave it because it offers something rare: safety without submission, challenge without chaos, depth without drama. This presence interrupts patterns, breaks games, and awakens honesty in others, even those who were not ready for it before. It's rare, it's powerful, and it's needed. So don't aim simply to be liked or chosen. Aim to become grounded, sharp, aware, and alive. Be the man who listens to understand, not to reply. Protect your peace like a treasure, sharing it only with those who earn it. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be disciplined, patient, and led by something deeper than external validation. Take your time. Build quietly. Sharpen your words. Clarify your values. Master your energy. And let the world adjust to your presence, not the other way around. Because a man who has mastered himself doesn't just rise, he reigns. If this resonated with you, write a comment below. Even a few words help anchor the lesson and might inspire someone else. Hit the like button if this message spoke to you and share it with someone you think needs to hear it today. Trust your instinct. We're all on a journey to become clearer and stronger within. Let's build minds and hearts that don't break. There is a presence that lingers, a quiet force that doesn't announce itself with fanfare, but changes everything simply by existing. This kind of presence is the product of mastery over one's inner world, a mastery few achieve because most are caught in cycles of reaction or performance. It's a presence rooted not in arrogance or showiness, but in profound self-knowledge and calm. To cultivate this presence is to cultivate a philosophy of life that values clarity over confusion, discipline over impulse, and depth over surface. It is to live with a steady mind in a restless world. Let's revisit each of the 6 traits, unpacking them further, not as abstract ideas, but as living practices, habits, and mindsets that anyone can begin to embody today. Seeing beyond the noise and refusing distraction. In every moment, life offers 1,000 invitations to lose ourselves, a careless comment, a sudden change in tone, the unpredictability of others' moods. Most people fall prey to these impulses, reacting immediately and often with confusion. But the man who stands apart is one who has trained himself to observe without immediate reaction. This is not about becoming detached or indifferent. It is about cultivating a kind of inner space where you can notice a shift in energy, a potential trap, or a test, and decide how to respond rather than being hijacked by emotion. Imagine a situation where a close friend suddenly withdraws or speaks sharply. The average reaction is to respond defensively or chase for explanations. But this man, he pauses. He feels the tension, acknowledges it, but does not rush to fix or react. He waits, and by doing so, he avoids getting pulled into drama that isn't his to carry. This habit of pausing creates a profound sense of calm in himself, and, paradoxically, it also tends to calm the other person. Because when someone's chaos no longer causes a reaction, it loses its power to manipulate. This quality can be developed through practices like mindfulness, learning to sit with uncomfortable feelings without needing to act immediately, or by mentally rehearsing situations where you usually react and imagining yourself staying steady. The power here is that your calm becomes a shield, a boundary that says, I am not your chaos, I am my own clarity. 2. Self-validation as a foundation. Self-validation is the bedrock of emotional freedom. Many people live as if their worth depends on the approval of others, and this is exhausting. It leads to constant second-guessing, performing, and ultimately disappointment. But the man with presence understands that true validation can only come from within. He has taken the time to understand his own values, strengths, and weaknesses, and has accepted himself fully, not as a finished product, but as a work in progress worthy of respect. When he encounters judgment, criticism, or tests, he does not feel the need to defend or justify himself. Instead, he listens, acknowledges, and moves forward without losing his center. This doesn't mean he is indifferent to feedback, but that he evaluates it through his own lens rather than reacting emotionally to it. One way to cultivate this is through honest self-reflection. Journaling can help you explore your beliefs about yourself and where those beliefs come from. Meditation or quiet contemplation can build the ability to observe your thoughts without being swept away. As this internal validation grows, you will notice a magnetic calm around you because people sense when someone's confidence is genuine and not contingent on their opinion. Understanding without control. The need to control others often stems from fear of unpredictability, rejection, or vulnerability. But control is ultimately an illusion, and attempts to impose it on others create tension and conflict. The man who embodies presence understands that true power lies in understanding, not control. He listens deeply, not to respond, but to understand the other person's experience and emotions. He reads between the lines to grasp what is really being said and what is not said. This requires patience. It requires resisting the urge to fix, judge, or push. Instead, he creates space for the other to be seen and heard. In relationships, This means allowing the other person to have their feelings without trying to dominate the narrative. It means responding with empathy, curiosity, and calm. This kind of presence can dissolve defensiveness because it doesn't threaten autonomy. Instead, it invites trust. You can cultivate this by practicing active listening in your daily conversations. Focus entirely on the speaker, reflect back what you hear, and ask clarifying questions without trying to solve or dismiss their feelings. Conflict without chaos. Conflict is often seen as something to avoid or something to win, but the man with presence knows conflict is an inevitable part of life and relationships, and it can be navigated skillfully. His approach is to meet conflict not with aggression, but with composed clarity. He speaks slowly and thoughtfully, choosing words that invite understanding rather than defensiveness. He asks questions that open dialogue, not close it. He listens to understand, not to rebut. This requires emotional regulation, the ability to notice rising tension in yourself and choose a different response. It requires humility to admit when you are wrong and courage to stand firm when you are right. Learning this takes practice. It might mean rehearsing difficult conversations mentally or writing down your thoughts before responding. The result is a transformation in relationships where disagreements become opportunities for growth and understanding instead of battlegrounds. Becoming a refugee without losing yourself. Strong personalities and emotional intensity can be challenging. Many people either withdraw from such energy or try to match it, escalating the tension. But the man who has presence offers a different kind of energy, an unshakable calm that others can lean into. He doesn't fear strong emotions. Instead, he meets them with steady warmth and clear boundaries. This makes him a refuge, a safe space where others feel they can be themselves without judgment or chaos. This refuge is not submission or dominance. It is strength expressed as patience, empathy, and integrity. You cultivate this by developing your own emotional resilience and practicing compassionate detachment, caring deeply without losing yourself in other storms, walking away with grace. Perhaps the greatest test of presence is the ability to walk away without drama or bitterness. In life, not all connections last. Sometimes the healthiest choice is to release what no longer serves you. Most people react to endings with anger, blame, or public spectacle. But the man with presence grieves quietly, accepts reality, and moves on with dignity. He understands that closure doesn't require conflict or final battles. It requires clarity and respect for himself and the other. This ability to let go without losing yourself is rare because it requires deep emotional maturity and self-love. You cultivate it by practicing acceptance and reflecting on impermanence, recognizing that all things change and that your peace is your most valuable possession. Mastering these 6 traits is not about perfection. It is a lifelong journey of discipline, patience, and self-discovery. It means learning to watch more than you speak, listening not to reply but to understand, protecting your peace fiercely and sharing it wisely. It means building an inner fortress of calm and clarity that nothing external can breach. When you live this way, you become more than just a man who exists. You become a presence that commands attention and respect without force. You become someone who anchors every room you enter, someone who stirs the hearts of those around you simply by being yourself. This is the power of presence. If you'd like, I can continue to flesh out each section with deeper philosophical insights, practical exercises, examples, and reflections to reach your 5,000-word target. Would you prefer that? Or do you want me to keep it more concise and punchy?